Good afternoon. I am Mary Ann Fisher with CPA.com. And I know many of us are in preparation mode and preparing for the upcoming holiday season and hopefully taking advantage of some much needed downtime. But that doesn't mean that we can't ignore kind of where the profession is today. And that is in preparation mode for 2021. So with that in mind, I'm very much looking forward to our discussion today, highlighting sales and use tax and what the profession can do to prep for what we envision to be a busy 2021 in this area, and what your role is in helping and guiding and advising clients through the 2021 year. I'm honored today to welcome in my guest for our discussion, Diane Yetter, the Sales Tax Institute. Diane is a pioneer in the sales tax category and brings to us today a wealth of knowledge and expertise. So we're very much looking forward to hearing that. Diane, I'd like you to take an opportunity to introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Thanks, Mary Ann. And I'm very happy to be with you again today. I enjoyed our last chat. So I am the president and founder of the Sales Tax Institute and also of Yetter Tax. And we are a sales tax consulting and education firm. So through the Sales Tax Institute, we offer education and resources to professionals to help them manage their sales tax obligations if they are in-house, but also for those of you that are advisors to clients, we offer a lot of resources that can help you help your clients. So Mary Ann, I really look forward to chatting with you today as we're in mid-December and getting ready for 2021, which we can only hope will be a much better year.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to this discussion because I think, as we look at the landscape and really kind of what's happened in sales tax, especially over the last, I want to say 3 years between the Wayfair decision and now we've got the pandemic, as accounting firms, as we take a step back and we are preparing for 2021, Diane, what would you like them to know about our current sales tax environment and what's the impact that's going to be on their clients? And should accounting firms today be preparing for what we believe probably is going to be an uptick in client inquiries?
Absolutely. I certainly believe that there will be an uptick in client inquiries, mainly because I think there's going to be an uptick in state inquiries to businesses about sales tax. So as you just mentioned, Mary Ann, we're coming up on almost 3 years since the Wayfair decision, historic landmark decision that completely changed the landscape as it relates to sales tax. And for many companies, they have complied, maybe not as timely as some of the earliest states that enacted their legislation and had their effective date back in July of 2018. We had a big chunk that came in at October 1 of 18 and then kind of filtering in past that. So we do have some companies that maybe were not as timely as they needed to be. And so I think, the pandemic laying on top of all this, certainly, the states are experiencing significant budget shortfalls. And the one kind of bright spot in most of the states has been the online revenue and remote seller revenue that has been coming in. But I do think that there is some low-hanging fruit for states to go and look at when did you register, when did your clients register versus when was the legislation effective. And they can certainly take a look at how much are you reporting currently versus, should you or had you likely crossed the threshold earlier. We do have a few states that, all along have been pursuing collection back to their effective date. Massachusetts and Maine have been the two most aggressive that are going back. And Massachusetts, you have to keep in mind that they had Cookie Nexus that was effective as of October of 2017. So we have seen a lot of states doing that. And I do think that audits are going to pick up. I think audits are going to continue. And I think that is going to be something that we're going to have to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. And I love the idea, Diane, of kind of showing some state examples and what we're seeing right now, because it helps to paint that picture of, what are your clients facing and how can we help in those jurisdictions? So I'm wondering, Diane, what advice, if you were to offer any advice to our firms as they're kind of preparing for 2021, but even as they're preparing for the upcoming 2020 tax season here in a few months, what advice would you like to share with those firms?
So I think what you should do, if you don't already do it, is certainly, we're here talking about sales tax, but where you typically have more interaction with your clients is when you're working with them on planning their income tax filing. And so as you prepare and as you send out year-end questionnaires, asking the client, are they registered for sales tax? Are they collecting sales tax? In which states are they registered to collect sales tax? So asking those types of questions. Hopefully you are getting sales by state for potential income tax and apportionment information. And so you can take a look at that sales information and compare it to the economic thresholds that exist in the states. The other thing to really not lose sight of is the importance of knowing whether or not traditional physical nexus is a potential risk, because that will take your client's risk back further than summer of 2018 and could take it back many, many years. We've had a lot of companies contact us that, the economic nexus is what kind of triggered the inquiry and triggered them reaching out to us, only to find out that they have remote employees. And certainly with the pandemic, that is something that we need to layer into it. Are the states agreeing to not consider remote employees temporarily in a state due to the pandemic to actually create nexus for them? But what if they're traveling employees and have been doing that? I've got some clients that do leasing. I've got clients that go into the states and perform services, and those sorts of activities are going to create not only sales tax nexus, but income tax nexus also. So what I would suggest is, as you're gearing up for year end, sending out those questionnaires, make sure you're asking questions about where are they physically doing work, physically operating. Get sales apportionment information, sales by state, but also make sure you understand what your client does. There has been a lot of business pivoting during the pandemic, switching and doing things that they never did before. I have a client that, a friend actually, not a client, who, has been somebody that does personal care services. And in the pandemic, she has switched to doing virtual services. That switch to virtual can open up a whole different can of worms and tax obligations for you, simply because the states are going after streaming services. So make sure you're asking those questions about what exactly is your client doing, and gather that. And, one of the things to keep in mind is the auditors have not slowed down, or audits haven't stopped during the pandemic. A couple weeks ago, I was honored to be a presenter at the Vertex Exchange conference, and we did a session on audit trends and had some survey questions that we did to the audience. And one of them was, what has been your experience with auditors during the pandemic? And, what we found is almost 60% of the people, and we had over 400 people in the session, so a pretty good population here for this. Almost 60% said their audits have continued but have been slower, and that is certainly what I have experienced. But 25%, nothing has changed and audits have continued. So I certainly expect that audits are going to continue to escalate, and I think the auditors are going to get stricter on documentation that they're going to accept and leniency that they're going to give, just because the states need the money. So that's what I've been seeing. But Marianne, CPA.com does a great job working with CPAs that are interested in providing sales and use tax practice, sales and use tax services within their practice. And I know that you have some different courses and sessions that you talk about technology. So can you talk about the different ways that firms can utilize sales and use tax technology to really help streamline sales and use tax services and compliance services, if that's what they're looking to get into?
Absolutely, Diane. I think this is a really good point, and kind of to piggyback a little bit on what you were talking about with the raw data around audits and the uptick of audits, but specifically where we are today with jurisdictions in terms of, they are looking for revenue. They need to find that revenue. And I think, to your point, sales tax is a great window of opportunity for these jurisdictions and specifically these auditors. So when we look at technology is a supportive tool for our accounting community and for the accounting profession to be able to help their clients and navigate the landscape that Diane was able to point out for us today. And there's a few different ways that firms are using that technology. A lot of it comes around into the form of compliance services. So as firms are looking to offer sales and use tax compliance and really trying to get the return out to the jurisdictions and handle those returns, clients are outsourcing that return processing to our firms. And we're seeing more and more of that. I think we're actually going to continue to see an uptick in that trend. And one of the ways firms are doing that is they're either offering what we call as return preparation services, where the client is delivering the day-to-day transactional information to firms, and then firms are taking that information and preparing return, as well as filing the return on behalf of the clients. They're handling any notices associated with those returns and handling the payment. To be able to do that in a profitable way, firms are utilizing technology and technology services and are outsourcing that return prep to the vendor of choice. That's one way we're seeing firms taking advantage of technology. The other is what we refer to as really the end-to-end solution, where firms are not only handling the return processing, but they're actually helping their clients by delivering them the calculation engine to calculate the day-to-day transactions and ensure that the calculation is proper and accurate based on the sale or the transaction that's being done. And using the proper rates and tools in technology can ensure that accuracy. So at the end of the filing period, when you're ready to prep that return, file that return to the jurisdictions, you're seeing exactly what those transactions are like and what those rates are being used. So again, that's really end-to-end, where the firm is providing the calculation engine, working with the client, but then also providing the return calculation piece as well, and the return prep. The one piece also with technology I don't want to ignore, because obviously compliance is really important, and I don't think you can't do really a true profitable compliance practice without utilizing some sort of technology, because you want to streamline that technology. But I don't want to forget, Diane, the research part of it, and being able to get the right rates and rules and the accuracy of what your clients are calculating, as well as what they're submitting to those jurisdictions, but also research and nexus. So being able to understand, where does the client need to file? Where is their obligation? Where might they be vulnerable? And having those research tools from an advisory standpoint to really help with providing some of those advisory tools. So again, there's the technology on the client compliance side, but we don't want to forget the research technology as well.
Yeah, and I think something important to keep in mind with that, Marianne, is that this is a perfect way for CPAs that are going to offer this end-to-end service to differentiate themselves from simply the self-service technology solutions that are out there, because they are not going to be, yes, they may have a calculation engine and they may have a compliance piece, but they're not actually understanding the client's business. They're not watching the taxability rules. They're not helping the client actually understand how to correctly configure and apply the tax. So that is a real important piece. And that really kind of moves it into, how do you want to build out different services other than just compliance? So if a firm wants to really move into doing advisory services, how can CPA.com help those firms that want to really provide a full service solution to their clients?
Absolutely. Great question. And a lot of this comes down to finding resources. And then CPA.com absolutely has a wealth of different resources to help firms, no matter what their path is, if they're just starting out with sales and use tax, to that more advanced experienced firm that might be just looking to expand into, different services. So we have a range of different offerings from, white papers, blogs, technology evaluations. We do have a partnership with, Vertex in terms of helping to deliver, the right sales tax technology for firms and technology that was built for the profession. But most importantly, and we talked a little bit about education, we do have a workshop. It's our compliance and advisory roadmap workshop, and it's the roadmap to sales and use tax practice. So what we do is we really want our firms who attend this workshop to walk away with a business model and a business plan put in place. Some of the main technology, the main topics that we talk about, not only just technology and kind of break down what we talked about just a few moments and how you can use technology, but we also help them understand, what does their staffing look like? Is staffing different in an advisory practice versus a compliance model? Pricing, how are you pricing out your services? And if you're doing advisory services versus that of, your month-to-month compliance and return processing. Engagement letters, giving an example, engagement letters, client assessments, all of these things that really build out a practice for our profession. We provide them with tips and tricks and best practices to put in place so that you are able to build out a successful practice, no matter what you're doing, whether that be compliance or advisory, and really have the tools in place to do that. So these are really a lot of the important pieces of building that out. But also, Diane, as I think about resources and I think about education, it's great to understand the services and the pricing model and the staffing model, but how do we keep our staff up to speed? How do we help our staff become more knowledgeable in doing a nexus study or actually breaking down the calculations and the rates and rules using the technology? I know your organization there with the Sales Tax Institute specializes in educational tools and workshops that are probably very unique from what we offer here at CPA.com, however, very complementary. As your focus is more in kind of the technical nature of how to do the sales tax, how can Sales Tax Institute help our firms that are looking for more of those technical resources and education material?
And you're right on there, Marianne, and we're excited for the relationship that we're developing with CPA.com, where CPA.com and your team, Marianne, can help providers that want to build a practice and understand all of those very important pieces of how to develop the practice, how to make the practice profitable and successful. But a big piece of it is making sure that you have staff that are properly trained. And that's what Sales Tax Institute really specializes in. So we offer a variety of different types of classes, from on-demand webinars to live webinars, to a remote multi-week class. We call it our Sales Tax Jumpstart class. A lot of accountants have taken that class because it isn't a block of time where you're out of the office taking that class. It's 2 hours a week over 9 weeks. And we actually provide a lot of tools to help you implement and take the concepts that we teach you and apply those to your client or within your own business. In normal days, we also have what we call our signature classes, our Basics of Sales and Use Tax class, and our Advanced Workshop. Those are normally in person in 20 and next year for 2021. Those are going to be virtual. We've got some great things planned. Our Basics of Sales Tax class is actually on a special lowest price ever been offered this week. So you can check that out on our website, salestaxinstitute.com. And that will be held over 5 days in June. And then our Advanced Workshop is really more of a symposium type of session where we do a deep dive, which is how we like to differentiate ourselves. Any one topic that we get into, we're spending about 2 hours on that topic, which gives us the time to not just share the technical information about it, but more importantly, to actually share practical insights and practical applications, which is what we really focus on in the Sales Tax Institute. So that's going to be held from mid-April to early May over 10 different sessions that we will have our Advanced Workshop. So, we would encourage you to visit salestaxinstitute.com, check out our educational resources, but we also have a wealth of resources on our site. We have a Nexus chart chart. We have a remote seller chart. We've got amnesty charts and sales tax holidays and our news and tips and state resources for every state that you can go and find things like link to their exemption certificates and their registration page. So we're excited about what we can bring to the CPA community and really excited about our relationship with CPA.com.
So as a wrap up, I think Diane, we did a really good job of kind of highlighting what are our clients facing? Why is this such a challenging time? But really, most importantly, the accounting firm role. And I think this is really the key here is just, the accounting firm in our community and our profession really plays an important role in terms of helping and advising our clients through this time of just a lot of changes, a lot of, uncertainty and in terms of what's going to happen with sales tax and what are these audits going to be like and how much are they going to feel the pressure, right? Especially the small to mid-size businesses. So with that, I hope we were also able to give firms who are in preparation mode for 2021 some great resources to take advantage of and really utilize during the 2021 year and really get familiar with. I think if we could kind of close on one thought, it's really this idea of you don't have to be an expert. It's use your resources and really dig in with your clients and help your clients understand, because there's a lot of help, especially in this area. And I think we were able to highlight those different resources for that. So as a thank you, Diane, as I want to wrap up, as a thank you to our audience, CPA.com and the Sales Tax Institute have partnered together to offer a year-end giveaway to our accounting profession and our accounting community. We will be raffling off a special gift to one lucky individual in which they will receive a coffee mug from the Sales Tax Nerd merchandise store. So that is branded through the Sales Tax Institute. It's their Sales Tax Nerd merchandise store. To enter that raffle, we've added a link in the comment section of this live LinkedIn today. You will click on that link, and right there, there is an opportunity to join the Sales Tax Institute mailing list. Go ahead and sign up for the Sales Tax Institute mailing list. You'll get an opportunity to see all of the resources we've laid out today on our discussion, as well as see all of those free graphs that Diane was able to point out for you. All of those signups between now and Sunday, December 13th will be eligible for this raffle. You must be associated with an accounting firm or an accountant to be eligible. Please sign up and we'll be sending out the coffee mug to one lucky winner. And I look forward to this. So with that, Diane, I want to give you an opportunity to close us with any final thoughts or any exciting feedback or anything you have for the community today.
Sure. Marianne, it's been a pleasure talking with you. And, the Sales Tax Nerd is something that we developed last year. It has been a great hit. I think CPAs we all kind of think of ourselves as a little bit of a nerd inside of us. We view a nerd as somebody that is passionate about what they do. And what we have found is there are a lot of people that are very passionate about doing sales tax and doing sales tax right. So this year we also launched our Sales Tax Nerd community, which is where you can join and you have access to a lot of our educational resources, either as an included part of your membership or at a significant discount. There are opportunities for engagement with other community members. There's a platform that we have that you can post questions. We've got some CPAs that are already members. We've got some really exciting things coming up for next year with different providers and partners that we work with. So check out the Sales Tax Nerd community when you're on our website. And I'm looking forward to making sure that we get a few more sales tax nerds out there, and especially one with the mug. So definitely go out to salestaxinstitute.com/CPA-com and sign up, and you'll see the resources that we have partnered together with CPA.com, both sides, so that you can go to one place and get those resources. And I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you again, Marianne, about how sales tax and CPAs or how CPAs can help their clients with sales tax using both of our organizations.
Absolutely. And Diane, I thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And, Don't forget to sign up for the coffee mug. We're very much looking forward to sending it out to one lucky winner. And just to close us out, we just want to say happy holidays to everybody, and we hope you have a good close to 2020 and looking forward to a successful 2021.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thank you.